Hello, Booknerds. How are you doing? It's been a while. So I just cut my book then. It's been a while, and I apologize for that. But let's start doing this with the first Sunday of the month. Before we go into the book review, I would like to talk about some little things. First thing is, me and Van, who does reviews on books and games as well, went to the Trafford Centre to Waterstones, and we were looking at the horror section, and I was umming and ahhing because nothing was really coming out at me that really caught my attention until one of the colleagues who worked there came up very shy and was like, "Do you like horror?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a whore for it." Who very passionately started talking about an author named Grady Hendrix. Basically, she was so passionate about the author and the books that I ended up buying two. So I'm very excited to read these, to be honest, because they sound like my cup of tea. So fingers crossed with that. If they're good, and I will probably read them very, very soon. If they are good, I want to go back to Waterstones and find this colleague that works there and just let her know like how much I appreciated that she was passionate about them and sold me the books, but also I want to see if she could recommend any more. So fingers crossed with that. Another thing is if you do remember my very first video of the booktuber tag, I talked about a series that first got me reading when I was probably around 9 years old, when I was a wee little shitling, known as The Night World by L.J. Smith. And not a lot of people know about this series because you can't really find it in bookstores anymore because it's so old. Showing my age. Well, I couldn't find the books with the original cover art because I loved the cover art, especially Daughters of Darkness, where it had the bat and the rose bush and thorns kind of like going along and kind of entrapping this bat. We managed to get hold of the collection of The Night World, so I'm very excited about this. They look beautiful. It's so shiny. Everything's weird coloured for me because colour blindness. But I'm very excited. We're going to be reading these in order. We're going to have a little playlist review about all of these books as we go through them. And we go into a deep, deep conversation with them. I may lend this to Ven. But I don't know if I want it out of my hands. Because I love this series so much. But yeah, so doing some reviews on them soon. Will we have a reading thing about them? I don't know. But talking about reading, me and Ven should be doing very soon, we haven't forgotten, the Legends and Lattes stream, where we'll be reading that and talking about it. So, there we go. Also, we do have a podcast. Links will be down below. We're on episode 2. We're going to be starting on episode 3 very, very soon. And we hope you enjoy them. But you know what? Let's just get straight into the review. Today, we are going to be talking about The Deep by Nick Cutter. This was supposed to be a aquatic / cosmic horror. It's not. Yes, it may be set in water, but no. I would say this more as an attempt of psychological horror. Attempt being the main word. It has 394 pages and was released in January 2015. I'm going to read you, normally I talk about the story of the book, but there isn't really much of a story, so I'm going to read you the blurb instead. So we're just going to go straight into that, and then we will go into the review as fast as possible, because this book was very painful for me. It took so long to read, and it shouldn't have done. So the blurb says, a plague is destroying the world's population. The gets makes people forget. First is the small things, like where you left your keys, and then the not so small things like how to drive, and finally your body forgets how to live. But now an unknown substance and extraordinary power to heal has been discovered in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, nicknamed Ambrosia. It might just be the miracle cure that the world has been praying for. A research lab has been established 8 miles below the sea surface, but all contact with the team has been lost. Dr. Luke Nelson's brother is down there, and as desperation for a cure outweighs common sense, he agrees to descend through the lightless fathoms, perhaps to face an evil blacker than anything he could have imagined. Does it stick to this? Yes and no. The Gets is probably about the first 30 pages in. It has a little bit of when you know you've got it, when you get like, you know when a banana bruises and you get little brown spots, people start getting on the body and then they start to get. They've got the Gets. That's really all you know about it. It doesn't delve any further into it. I really wanted it to, but it didn't. That's pretty much it. It's basically going back and remembering past things. Then I think maybe 25% of this is them in the underwater facility, and the rest is just them remembering things from their childhood. I'm going to put this over here, far away from me. So we're going to go straight into the characters. I had to re-record this because I kept saying Nick instead of Luke, because Luke is the main character and Nick is the author. So we have Luke, the main traumatized protagonist, that's the word, in the story. He's very whiny, but he does have a reason to be whiny because his life has been shit. His mother was very abusive mentally, words, and physically in some ways, and his child was kidnapped and was never found, and it destroyed his marriage. He is now working as a vet with animals, and that's kind of it. He never recovered from anything, basically. We have Clayton, the next character, who is Luke's older brother, who is basically a genius. He is the modern day smart guy. No, what's he called? We'll get back to that. But he's basically a genius. He's worked on cures for certain things. He's done amazing. He's also traumatized from the mother on much more many levels than Luke. But also, Clayton does have psychopath characteristics, tendencies, whatever you want to say. Now, they're cool little characters, but my main character that I actually liked, who isn't really a main character, was Alice Sykes, also known as Al, who is part of the army where Luke goes to go down to see his brother, or to get hold of him, because no one's been able to get hold of him for a while. They are pretty intelligent, but not to a point where they rub it in your face. They're very humble, and if they were an actual person, they would be a genuinely nice person. And I like their character. Her and Luke had chemistry, for sure. Was there much time to delve into that? Nah. It was just, here's this really cool character that we actually kind of like. The end. And that's really it for characters. Story / plots. The story is supposed to be about the Gets, about them trying to find the cure for the Gets, and to see what's been going on in this research facility, as it is supposed to be a cosmic / aquatic horror. Yes, it is set 8 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. That's really it. First 30 pages, you kind of learn a little bit about the Gets, not too much. You don't really get much information. You don't get how it started. You don't learn about how big this catastrophic event was. You don't know anything about it, pretty much. And that's something that it really annoyed me, because I want to know about this, you know? It attempts to be psychological horror. It does make you feel, because they're like so far down below and they can't, communication is wobbly and broken because of certain things. Without going into spoilers, if you can class them as spoilers, the isolation that the book does make you feel is very prominent. So kudos to that. But that's really it. The first 30 pages was about that. Then the next 30 pages was about them going down into the water. And then the rest is, if you could really think about it, was past journal entries and memories. And then the ending was a really big disappointment because it was shit. I don't know how I'm going to say. So, oh god, I can't break it. No, it's just the ending, the whole reading of the book. I forced myself to read through it, because I loved the troop so much that they did. It was beautiful. It was good. I genuinely, well, the characters annoyed me in that, but it was to a point where I was just like, okay, sweet. This one, me forcing myself to read this book to get to that ending was not worth it at all. I was really upset with this book. World building, you're 8 miles in the ocean. You have a little bit of a moment where it describes about how they're on the Luke is on this boat with a captain, as they have a moment kind of being like, hey, we're still here, we're gonna sort this out, hopefully this will bring us a cure to the Gets. And it's really cool, and it was very well described, and then you're just in this darkness and you're alone in the ocean in a place where the pressure is so much that you don't even know how this place is still standing, which was cool, but that's really it. There's not much else there. Re-readability. I'm not going to be reading this book again. I genuinely didn't like it. It was a waste of time for me. I really hated this book. Fun factor, there was some cool bits where it describes certain events, which I have to admit, like mental stimulation wise, was kind of cool. But not worth nearly 400 pages of my life. I'm dissing this book so hard, and I feel so bad. Rating wise, 2 stars. I liked some of the characters. I liked how it did make me feel isolated, and some things were described really well, but I can't go higher. It's not even... I can't go higher than 2. I could probably go lower, but I don't want to hate on Nick Cutter as much. I guess it was just what I thought it was going to be was something completely different than what the book was. I really wish it was something else, something so different. It took me so long to force. It took me a good few weeks to read that book. I really struggled with it, and I shouldn't have, because I liked the other one so much more. But it is what it is. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this little review. Next review will be up in 2 weeks, just so you know. So we are working at getting ourselves back on track. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch this. You're all awesome and amazing. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any book recommendations that you would like me to read at all, and I will go and have a look and gander at them. Much love, stay awesome, and make good decisions and choices. Peace out, my bitches.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you I was lonesome, and when you came inside, dear, my heart grew light and this whole world